Hi, my name is Chris Melnick, and I'm a realtor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today, I'm going to talk about Purchase Plus mortgages. Have you ever gone to view a home and said, wow, this home is very terrible cosmetically, but with new paint and flooring, it would be a massive improvement and something I'd actually consider. But unfortunately, I don't have enough extra cash for that work if I did buy the home. Well, good news. There's an obscure financial product called a Purchase Plus mortgage. Long story short, a Purchase Plus mortgage allows you to borrow money at normal interest rates to pay for upgrades on a home prior to you actually buying it. At least you make the arrangements prior to you actually buying it. This could be for a heat pump, flooring, paint, a bathroom renovation, or kitchen renovation without appliances, among many other possibilities. Now, before I go on, I will say that only some lenders have programs like this, and each lender probably does things just at least a little differently. So be sure to confirm any details that may affect your buying strategy with your mortgage professional. This video is an overview of what some lenders can do. This concept is kind of strange, so I'll give you an example. Let's say you qualify for a $600,000 mortgage. Then you start looking for the perfect home. Can't find it, but instead find one that's almost perfect, but has a hideous bathroom. Let's say a bathroom renovation costs $20,000. So you may be thinking, well, if I buy this home, I won't be able to pay for that renovation in cash afterwards. And other private loans or lines of credit would have interest rates so high that I wouldn't even want to borrow the money if that was the case. And maybe you're very confident that you could buy that home for $550,000 and just wish that the bathroom was already renovated because you would gladly be willing to pay $570,000 for that actually perfect home. And then you'd be paying for the whole thing, renovation included, over potentially a period of 25 years, which is a typical amortization period. So that bathroom renovation would probably cost you about $120 per month extra at today's normal interest rates, which you would gladly pay for a non-hideous bathroom that you could enjoy right away. With a Purchase Plus mortgage, you can basically do that. First, you have to be pre-approved for a mortgage. Next, the pre-approval amount would have to cover both the home itself and the renovation cost. Second, you have to find a home that you'd like to buy and upgrade. And note, I say upgrade rather than repair, because the home has to be at least livable in its current state. You can't use this program for structural repairs or for a new well or septic system when your old one isn't usable. Basically, the insurer just wants to make sure that if you didn't follow through with this work and stop paying the mortgage, they would be able to foreclose and resell a livable home to someone else to recoup their money. If it's not livable, they're going to have a very tough time doing that. So oddly enough, if the roof of the house you're interested in is leaking heavily and letting water into the home, you couldn't use this program for new shingles. But if the shingles were looking to be on their way out but still waterproof, you could use this program for new shingles, in theory. You could also potentially use this if you had a dug well that was known to go dry from time to time but was otherwise functional, to instead put in a drilled well to give you reliable water regardless of the season. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The bank has to know what the work is, have quotes, and believe that the work will add value to the home. This can take some time. It can take an additional 1 to 2 weeks after you've got the quotes, depending on the lender. So unfortunately, if the decision to buy the home is dependent on if you'll be approved for the extra renovation money, you need to have a conditional period long enough to accommodate getting a contractor in to give you the quote and time for the lender to approve it. If there's competition on the home, that could make your offer uncompetitive. On the other hand, if having the renovation cost built into the mortgage is not a deal breaker but would be nice, you can go through the normal conditional process, get the actual approval, and go firm on the home and apply for the extra money in between that time, aka firm, and closing. You won't risk losing the original approval on the home, but potentially won't get the additional renovation money. Either way, let's say the bank does agree to lend you the extra money. What happens then? Well, of course, you can't actually start any work until the home is yours, so you have to wait until closing. At closing, the bank lends you the entire amount of money and begins charging you interest on it, but the renovation money is kept with a lawyer until the work is complete. What this means is that you either have to pay for the work up front and have the lawyer reimburse you when complete, or find a contractor who's okay with being paid in full when the work is done. This is because the bank wants to make sure that you don't just use the money to buy a boat or vacation instead, which doesn't increase the value of the home. Here are some other interesting pieces of information. If you like doing work yourself, you can use this program for materials like flooring, paint, trim, etc. But just remember that they won't lend you money for materials that are supposed to be installed by licensed professionals like electricians and plumbers. And depending on the scope of the work, you may receive pushback if they doubt your abilities. Another rule of thumb is that the bank may lend up to 20% of the purchase price of the home, and there's no time limit to use the money. But just remember, you're paying interest on it from day one, so you'll probably want to get that work done as soon as possible. And that's a purchase plus mortgage. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and I can put you in touch with a mortgage broker who's extremely knowledgeable about purchase plus mortgages. And if you'd like my help in buying or selling the home, feel free to contact me. My contact information is in the description. Goodbye.